there. So previous months we launched a form for people to enter so they could actually get a free crow review, which is usually worth $500. And we've had a lot of entries, and the original plan was to actually just pick one or like a few of them to give them as to give you as a gift. However, I thought with so many entrants, I really like to help you all. So what I'm going to do is every few weeks or so, I'm going to do 5 reviews of websites altogether and post them online for you to review. I think it's really beneficial because although some websites may not be exactly like yourself, you will probably see some similar themes that could be applied to your website. So I hope this will be a value experience. So today I'll be doing the first 5 entries that we've had from our forms. So what I'll go through is some of the home pages in terms of the impression it gives, the money pages. So for the e-commerce sites, I'll go through your product pages because that's where people actually essentially add things to cart, as well as your checkout process if it's available. And for the other websites, I'll be going through your inquiry pages. So these are the pages that ask for details to fill out a form for a free consultation or similar things like that. And just to remember, always be testing any recommendations I give because there's many ways to do certain changes, and only with testing you can find out the best way to go. So let's get started. So the first website is hookedgear.com.au, and on first impressions the site is very clean, it's very modern. It can look a little bit templatey because I've seen a lot of WordPress themes that look like this, but generally it's a nice clean site. Now getting to the nitty gritty of it, my first impression is that this is the heading and you can really see the brand straight away, which is good. However, it is quite a large heading. So what I actually recommend is maybe halving the space of the header here to about this much. Reason being is because your logo does not need to be that big. If you make your logo this big, it means that your products will not be in the spotlight. So then my question to you is your brand more important or is what you're selling more important? I hope you actually answer that question and say what you're selling is more important. Therefore, your products should be featured here in much more prominency. This dark grey banner here, it looks very nice. However, it actually does look quite disconnected to the rest of your site, mostly because it's a line, and then because it's lighter here, I actually assumed from first glance that the website starts from this point, so I actually missed out this whole line, which is quite important considering it's your checkout button place. So either reduce it a little bit and move items like this in this space here, so there's a more prominent spacing and you actually see it more clear. Will be a much better way to go, and that also prevents you from pushing a lot of your good content like your featured products and just your images generally down the page too far. In terms of the banners, they don't really, like the introduction before I said, that it's very important when someone lands on your website, you need to tell them immediately what your website is about. So be sun safe. Is that for sunscreen? What is that for? Play safe. It's very vague. While it might be very catchy to use safe on each of them, and you can really put forward that the idea of products are very safe, it's not specific enough to what is safe. What is it actually? Sunscreen? I just noticed it was a man holding a bottle. Maybe it is sunscreen, I am not sure. That gives me no reason or no curiosity to click my story when I don't even know what that product is. In terms of featured products, I think there's no complaints here. It looks very general. If it's not rated yet, is it possible just to have a function where that does not show there's no ratings? Because it's not rated yet, it kind of assumes, it makes the assumption and indication that no one has bought it yet. Therefore, that will not make the actual product very appealable. But that's feedback on the homepage. So now I've just gone into Get Hooked, one of the product pages. So the first thing I'm faced with, again, the heading, I would say reduce it just like I said on the home page. You got a really good hero image here, which is great. I didn't click anything, but somehow it changed to the other image. I would recommend that not be the case if possible. Nice big headline, that is great. Nice clear button form, which is great. I know you've got little slight shadowy cover dividers here. They're not as clear from first glance. So if you can make them stand out a bit more, it will make the page much more scannable. In terms of the actual copy that's written out, I feel that the page is very long, like this section here, to go through all the things. If you can arrange it in such a way where the items what they choose is on one side and the add to cart is on the other side. It keeps the page much more compressed, and it's easier to look at as well. A big plus for adding the social media's icons after the actual main call to action, because people don't share things straight away. You give them something first so you build a little trust before they decide to share something. By default, you should maybe have a color selected already, just to make the process a little bit more fluid. For sizings, you might actually want to put a sizing chart if there isn't already, because sizes in Australia may be different from the US and you don't want to lose your international market. So that's my feedback for Hooked Gear. Let's move on to keep this lesson short. So next site is columbusdirect.com.au. So this is a travel insurance website, as I could see for the headline here. You've got your nice phone number up here in a place that's very easy to find with a little icon. Although this, I'm not quite understand what this image of a dog, the Bernardo dog with the globe actually means in relation to the phone number, but it does catch your eye and that does what it needs to do. You got your nice heading here, lowest cost travel insurance. Great. Now I know exactly what you do, and every website needs to have this. A heading that's not too fancy, but not, it's just very to the point, and you just know exactly, oh, I'm at the right place. Very simple. You've got some good copy here. I really do like your copy. You're asking the person a question, which person to think, and makes them more engaged. Okay, so you got the get quote here, which I assume is your main call to action. I will go back into this a little bit later. You've got like a grid format of things here. It is a little bit messy because there's a lot of things to look at, but I see you have used sizes to kind of format to hierarchy, which is good. So I'm not going to go into that too much detail for now, but I'd like to check out your quote page since it's the top call to action. And another thing about all call to action, it was blue. What I usually recommend for calls to action is, if there is a website that is mostly blue, the most well-performing call to actions that work with the website is the opposite color. So you should try test it with some oranges, reds, or even like a darker yellowy color to make it stand out a bit more. So your form is quite simple. You got the system here, which I won't go through in too much detail. You've got all this down here, which is nice and scannable. I think it's maybe a little bit wordy because it is actually quite long. If you can condense it in a way, that will be much better. I'm going to quickly go through this. Destination. Sure, I'm just going to click some random numbers. Okay. So I'm just loading the site right now, and it is not as fast as it could, and this is a gigantic form. Maybe it is a little bit too much detail. For things that are very similar, like these items, is it necessary to show them per se? And is there something you can provide here which we say like, oh, the most popular option, with a little badge to help people actually decide easier? Because what you don't want people to do is be a bit too confused with what they can offer. If it's XXX for all of these, why actually list them for? I think it just makes it a little bit confusing. Just remove it if it doesn't apply to them, because making so many numbers like this, it actually looks quite scary. So yeah, and if you could actually put, instead of proceed, you click one tick or one tick and you press proceed. Is there a way to make it much shorter, to actually add 3 buttons here instead, so they can click one? Unless they can actually purchase 2, then this format would be fine. So I'm just going to go for the most expensive option for now, because I want to see what it looks like. And it's loading. I'm not sure if it's the internet here or the site's actually going quite slow, or it could be just a massive amount of information. Yeah, I guess it's a pretty simple form. I won't go into too many steps, but generally it's okay. But if you can shorten it to make it more user-friendly, that would be ideal. Another thing that would be really good is, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, which shows progress, can you actually write down what each of the steps involved, maybe percentage of time remaining left? So it just gives a person more of a general overview and I guess control of the situation they feel like they are in. I'm going to go to the About Us page, because people often look here to build trust. So you've got the CanStar award, which is great. You've got some little text there and so on forth. Is it possible to put any testimonials or things like this on the page? It would be really good to build trust and credibility, because people who don't know who you are, it will be really good to have customer stories back up your credibility. So that was the Columbus Direct Review. So now we've got Selective Software. So I noticed there's like a bit of a theme with this darker heading here. I'm a little bit on the fence on it. I guess it really depends on you to test things to check on the performance. I just see it too easily separated from the whole site because of its dark colors and doesn't actually form anywhere on the site. And a lot of things can be actually missed. Where you put a phone numbers are good, yes, but give a reason for people to contact you. So just put in front of it, call us for a free consultation or just to speak to a help representative, give them a reason. In my email, of course, email us for sales and inquiries, blah. Nice and easy. So you got the headings: low risk, high value, customer software development. I feel that this heading, while it's quite simple and to the point, it is also a bit too general and a bit too vague. What is low risk? What is high value? Should custom software development go at the top first? So it should be like low risk custom software development, which has a higher value. Off the top of my head, probably not the best example to give. But yeah, you really need to tell people exactly what you do straight away so people can know if, you know, your site is the site that they've actually landed on and it's what you want. Are these clickable links to the software? Like, if I want a new application, am I to click here? It's not quite clear. I always say, don't never make people think. If you want people to click something, make a button that looks clickable, make it obvious. It doesn't have to be a particularly made in a very templated way. Even a small button, say find out more, click to find out more is enough, and that won't actually ruin the modern look of your site at all. This text looks just like a lot of big text here, and I actually don't want to read it. And this sounds so complicated, this heading. You know, why should I read this copy? And they'll mostly go from the heading. So how can you rename this heading to make it more useful? You know, what benefits can they achieve? You know, you even write something like reasons to choose Selective Software, and so on and forth. You got clients, which is great. You got some big clients like Optus and Fairfax. I suggest these should be maybe posted a bit further up on the page, or even, you know, underneath here a bit more, because they'll build massive credibility to your site, and I do highly recommend it. So let's clicking through to one of the pages. This is a lot of text here for something I'm not quite sure. If someone was to land on this page, not from the home page, just from a Google search, saw new application development, would they know exactly what that is? You need to provide maybe a question, a follow-up question, such as, you know, are you a person who has problem X, because we can solve a problem Y. By giving someone situations like that, they can really envision themselves working with you, and that makes the conversion process much more simpler. They'll be more likely to contact you sooner, rather than reading through your website to find out why they should. So I'm not really sure what you want people to do on this page. There's no real sure call to action. To download the white paper. There's some links here, but it's not quite clear what direction you want people to take. So it's very important to really use graphics and text to guide people in the right direction. People rarely come to a website just to read. They come to scan the page for information and take action from there on. So without any clear call directions for what to do, you'll pretty much have lost your customer. They have no idea what to do. So let's go to, I don't know, it's Windows 8. There's a bit of bug there, so maybe you should have that looked into. I'm just going to quick have a glance. It's about Windows 8 programs, review organization, features. Never put really features. I don't like features because they're just, anyone can give features. What you should really do is, because you want to give customers give yourself a really unique selling point, is put these benefits include, and these benefits should list out things that your competitors can't offer, because you don't want to, if you give the same reasons, then what's the difference between choosing you or a competitor? So always make sure in terms of that to always put benefits. Is there an application form you want people to fill out? Maybe it should be placed right here, or do you want people to contact you? Again, it's not quite clear. To find out more about the development, blah, 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 inquiry, yes, I guess it's fine. I'm not quite sure how big your system is. I always say keep the forms as simple as possible. However, if your system is quite particular, very unique, or maybe just very intricate, you might want to put more fields in, because so they can actually feel like they can actually help you better. So things you might want to put is your website URL, maybe the type of software development they want, and rather than put inquiry, write what type of software would you like to be made, would you like us to make for you, so things like that. There's another thing is that the cancel button. I don't actually see in any case, anyone who would fill out a form and press cancel, they will just press the back button. So putting a cancel here button is a big no-no because it's just pointless. And if someone fills out the form and accidentally clicks this cancel button, because that's usually the OK button, it's quite a frustrating process to fill out again, especially if they took some time to write a really long inquiry form here. So remove the cancel button. I'd say don't even need to test that, just remove it altogether because it's absolutely not helpful. Another point you should also put in is, because they are giving quite possibly private type of information away for you, you should put a little disclaimer or a little assurance sentence to say your privacy is protected, we'll never sell your information or disclose it or anything like that there, just to give them a little bit of a reassurance that things are okay. So that is the Selective Query Review. So going to marshallsholiday.com.au, and from first impression this site looks very old. It looks like it's done maybe in before 2000. But that being said, I'm not going to comment too much on the look and feel of it, unless because if your business model is selling cheap type of holiday rentals, like really cheap, then this type of style is actually quite perfect because it actually looks cheap. And I apologize if your product is not actually cheap. However, that's just the image that it kind of gives. But for this type of layout, while it can be loaded quite quickly, there is a lot of things going on. You've got a big chunk of paragraph text here. You've got some spinning, rotating asterisk thing, which isn't really helpful. You've got so many little offers here that just kind of shout out. There's a lot going on. You've got hot deals. You've got something like this. You've got more hot deals here. You've got subscription letters. You've got a contact us link. You've got a form. You've got a quick find. You've got a real service. You've got a map, a newsletter. Oh, it just goes on. So really kind of take into consideration of what is most important for your customer to focus on, and really just draw attention to that first. The rest of it should just come later on in a not so hard selling way. You've really jumped into the form really quickly before a client or a user has even trusted you. So provide more information about what you do. If you do holiday rentals, show some pictures of the things that you may rent out. It just makes it much more appealing, and you're not forcing a sale too much, because everyone likes to shop, but no one likes to be sold to. So really kind of look into that. You've got some testimonials here, which is great for testimonials. You don't need guest testimonials. Testimonials is enough, but really make them look like testimonials. How can you make them look more like testimonials? By putting speech marks, styling them differently, put them in bubbles or anything like that. If there's video testimonials, even better. So I don't actually know where to click, so I'm going to click hot deals because there's so many of them, and I assume that's really important. Readability. Red text on a cyan background is really hard to read. This hurts my eyes, like it burns. And the safest text color to use is a black text on a white background. But if your target market is someone who likes to read web pages in the dark, then a dark grey background with a white text is more suitable. So you will know your customers best, so that will be the best way to go. If this looks like it's selling a property, so there should definitely be bigger pictures of the property. And so it looks like a really nice image actually. So you click that in, more images come on. These look like really nice images. Like this looks very, very luxurious, and they should be shown off. Why this is not expanded straight away when you enter the page, I'm not sure. Ideally, you should really show it off straight away. I don't know what to do after read this copy. There's no call to action. There's a click. I don't know how to book this page. Do I click this? What do I do? It's not clear. So, I think a bit of work, a little restructuring on it. I guess this is the type of site that I'll drop a lot of wireframes for to figure out just in the main navigation and just to follow the conversion path. So if you have any questions of that, do leave in the comment section below, and I can give you some tips on that as I go. So that's the feedback for the Marshall's Holiday Rentals. Next website is My Artworks. So you wrote, welcome to My Artworks. Very useless sentence because one, your logo is very clearly what your company is. You don't need to put welcome. Of course, you're going to welcome people who come to your site, so you don't really need it. But specializing in children's art portfolios, a colourful way to store children's artwork is a great headline to use. This should be the main headline, not welcome to My Artworks. Are these pictures of actual drawings that kids have done? I'm not sure, but what this might be actually good is how do you actually store the children's artwork. I just imagine a book, for example, or a folio. So you should maybe show a picture of a folio with some pictures of artworks in it, or maybe a child actually holding the portfolio, looking very proud with their actually pictures drawn into it. Will be a much better hero shot compared to this. I think it looks like a splash page, so I wouldn't actually recommend it. So what I would actually recommend changes to do is put a nice banner here, a photograph of a child holding one of your portfolios that you make with their artwork in it, looking really happy. And from there you can visit our shop, or build your own portfolio as a call to action. You've got some good nice little line heading here, but it could be probably expand a little bit more, especially be much better for SEO to have more content. You might want to list out all the categories you have on your website, because your homepage should be providing a bird's eye view of your website, so they can actually click to find out where they want to go. So let's go to the art photos, and here are the images. It looks very cute. There's a little folder, and there's little things like that. This is a really nice image. So having images like this on the homepage will be really, really good. You've got all these little things here, but again, similar to a lot of websites before, I've seen that although you present nice content and some nice really high quality images like these ones here, when someone lands on the site, what do they do next? After I read this, what do I do now? Do I contact you? Oh, click here to order. So maybe you should put that all the way down here as well, because after you're reading, you want to just click straight to order. Whoops. So let's go back here. So make sure the call to actions is kind of scattered throughout the whole page a lot more. Another reason, before I go to there, you haven't actually provided any reason for why customers should choose you over the competitors. So something to work on for the copy as well. So I like this one, which is what the girl was holding in before. Before I go to checkout, I like to see more information about it. And there isn't much information here. You can just see it's the heading, the price, it's valuable, and that. Is there more views over that you can provide? Is there more examples of the work inside it that I can see? What are the benefits to it? Provide more information. Is Pinterest the only type of sharing one you want? Add more if you need it, but put them under the add to cart button. The add to cart button doesn't stand out at all. It's grey. It matches with the rest of the website. A purple or red or this type of blue here will be much better. Put images on the left hand side, because it's the first thing people will see, so you might as well put on the left hand side because people scroll the page in this type of manner. So let's add things to cart quickly. You got a very normal checkout process. And one thing that people are very concerned about these days is online security. So I've actually seen that you're actually SSL, you got the secure system here. So it might actually be good, to actually just put, we're SSL secure. That will just make it much, much easier. You've got a one-step checkout process, which is really good because it's nice and easy to fill out. I assume this means it makes that the same, so that's great. Blah blah blah. So what is missing on this checkout process is things of trust. So what I recommend is putting, if you have any kind of credit card protection services happening on SSL secure certifications, put them on the page so that they really, it just shows that it's just more of a reassurance point that their credit card details are not being stolen. So I'm just doing one more page before I go on and end this crow review. So we've got on the kids craft page, fun craft ideas to color paper for the kids, and I assume this is just more of an inspirational thing. I'm not actually quite sure, so maybe some change to the heading could make that actually more clearer. So cupcakes coloring page. So these are just literally things that people can do. Oh, okay. So, fun craft activities or coloring activities for the kids may be a better heading for this page, but I don't really know what it is. Maybe putting a little icon of what it is might be a good way to do it. If you're making people go to a page directly to the PDF, in your PDFs you should maybe put a little link, some text here which says this is being printed from myartworks.com.au, or you might actually print it along here somewhere like that as well, because it just makes it's more of a marketing thing for you, so that your brand is always prominent and you have more people visit your site from there on. Because if you just leave them with this, they're just pictures of cupcakes that anyone could have gotten from anywhere. Say a kid downloads this and then 6 months down the path, some other kid goes, oh, that's really pretty stencil, where do I get this from? Well, who knows, because it's not actually listed on there. So it'll be good to actually add things, your branding across the products, and that will be just much better for you in the long term, and so on and forth. So that's where they were the crow reviews, and thank you for watching. I hope you found them useful. And if you have any questions, you can leave your questions in the comments section below, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can read more blog articles within this post. Thank you for watching, and I wish you good luck in your campaigns, and more quick query review videos will be to come. Goodbye.